Hey guys, wanted to go ahead and do a quick review of the Audio-Technica M30X and the Audio-Technica M50X. I recently bought the M30X because I was curious about it, and I wanted to see whether it would be a viable budget option to recommend to people who are looking for a budget headphone. So, yeah. I know there's a lot of other M30X and M50X reviews out there, but I think they tend to like basically drone on for like 40 minutes, and in the end, they're both good. Choose what you think's good. And it's like, no, they're not. There's a clear difference. So let's just get right to the point. Okay, so the M30X is nowhere near as comfortable as the M50X, is the first thing you should know. The second thing you should know is that the M30X, it has a super long cable, which is annoying. Now, normally, that's not a big problem. However, this cable is not detachable. So here, this is not detachable. That sucks. On the M50X, you can actually remove the cable out, and the cable is much shorter. So it is actually, the cable is detachable, and it is a much shorter cable. So that's important because you're going to have to carry this around everywhere. The other thing is this is not as padded. So on the inside, these are not as padded as the so comfort is huge difference between that. The build quality feels a little bit more plasticky. It's a lot more cheaper. It feels more fragile. Even right now when I'm touching it, I feel like I'm going to break it, versus the M50X just is a little bit heavier, but it feels more premium. It is more comfortable. It is more padded. Okay. Sound-wise, between the two, and this is what people want to know, and this is hard for me to do because you can't hear what I hear, and I can't hear what you hear, which is why I honestly feel headphone reviews are kind of stupid. Just take this as a grain of salt that you can't hear what I'm talking about. You just have to take my word for it, which is like every single headphone review out there. But the M30X has very little detail compared to the M50X, which I found shocking because I used to have the M40X, and the M40X was very similar to the M50X, but it was actually in many ways more accurate because the M50X has kind of a little bit of a bass boost, versus the M40X was more neutral. Now, the reason I don't have the M40X is the M40X was not very comfortable. Like, it would clamp on my ears, and I was like, you're gone. So I donated the M40X, and I still keep the M50X, which is, in my opinion, it's accurate enough, but with a little bit of a bass boost. It is enjoyable enough, like for regular music. Now for this just lacks a lot of detail, is the best way I can explain it. I was talking about this with people in Discord, and it is the most strangest thing about this headphone. It is very light, very thin sounding, but it doesn't sound sibilant, which is really strange, because usually most light and thin sounding headphones sound sibilant, like they're sharp and they get like piercing the ear. This is not like that. It's just the way I can say it is like it's very thin. It's lacking detail. It's thin, So it's just lacking detail by comparison. Overall, the sound leans towards lean. No pun intended. Okay. So what we want to know most of all is, how does this work for musical enjoyment and enjoyment overall, and how does this work for accuracy, editing audio, and things like that? Because headphones specialize in both of those different things. That's important. Like, some headphones are not accurate, but they're enjoyable to listen to, as in they sound good on every music, which is like most of the reviews out there when you look for headphone reviews.
M50X, F tier, no questions about that.
They're not focused on accuracy. They're focused on enjoyment. But there's a second aspect of microphones. How do you sound on your microphone? How do you sound if you watch Podcastage on like 50 different microphones? Can you tell the difference?
Greetings, Earthlings, and welcome back to Podcastage.
Greetings, Earthlings, and welcome back to Podcastage.
You are currently listening to microphone number 1 in this blind comparison. You are currently listening to microphone number 2 in this blind comparison. You are currently listening to microphone number 3 in this blind comparison.
Or does he sound excellent on all of them, which tells you nothing at all? You're like, okay, so for enjoyment, these suck. These are not very enjoyable. For music, and for accuracy, they are somewhat accurate, but they still veer towards thin. So you're always going to think your audio is a little thin. While I would normally say, and a lot of people have been saying this, they all say, go for the M40X because it's cheaper than the M50X and it sounds just as good. Yes, that's true, but you're missing one important thing. The M40X is super uncomfortable. Okay, great. So that's it. We'll just end the video right there and go from there. Okay, bye.